Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Mark Owens. John, hope your weekend's treating you well.
It has been a glorious weekend. I'm starting to see flashes of what I hope is just going to be a beautiful fall in southern Louisiana.
Listen, whatever sends the gnats and the no-see-ums headed north for the winter, I'm okay with that.
I did tell you the mosquitoes are so big here, hunting them is a sport. Would you believe that?
No, I think some of them bought some office space next to you, as a matter of fact. That's how big they are. Let's get to it here.
Those other advisors.
Hey, listen, I want to jump into something that's been weighing heavy on a lot of people's minds lately, and we're seeing headlines about layoffs. Big companies letting thousands of people go. I mean, UPS, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon. Here in the radio industry, it's happened to some buddies that I've worked with. And here's what's really concerning, John. Many of these folks are in their late 50s and their early 60s. They're right on the cusp of retirement, but they really weren't planning to retire just yet. So, John Scallan, if this happens to somebody, I mean, what should they do immediately?
We're seeing this more often than we have in the past. I mean, it's truly heartbreaking if you get down to it. We've taken more meetings on this subject in the last year than I care to count. I mean, people come in and they're concerned, they're scared. You know, they've worked hard. They had a plan. They said, listen, we're going to grind until 65, 62, maybe go a little bit longer, build up a little more savings, get our full Social Security benefit, maybe even max Social Security benefit if they're willing to go till 70. Then bam, right out of the blue, one meeting with HR, and suddenly that timeline evaporates. You know, Mark, here's the thing. If this happens to you, whether you're in oil or gas or manufacturing or working for one of our Louisiana companies, what I would encourage you to do is just take a breath and realize this is not the end of your retirement story. It's just a different beginning than you expected. But yes, you absolutely need to revisit your entire plan.
So, John, I'm putting myself in that situation. Walk us through what it looks like. What is that first conversation?
Mark, you know, the first thing I do is listen. And I mean really listen. You know, people are upset. Sometimes there's anger, there's fear, you know, this sense of I failed somehow. You know, I always tell these folks, you didn't fail. This happened to you, not because of you. And that's a really, really significant distinction. Then we roll up our sleeves and we get strategic. Right out the gate, first question, how is your cash position? If you're 62 and just lost your paycheck, can you get through 6 or 12 or 18 months without touching those retirement accounts? The worst thing you can do is panic and start pulling money out of your 401k before you have a plan. And Mark, I've seen it. And when I talk about a plan, this shouldn't take 3 months or 30 days. With the right advisor, you should be able to, you know, circle the wagons and get a plan together very quickly. Some people get scared. They get real jittery. They take a big withdrawal out of their retirement plan. And if you're, you know, under 59 and a half, you're paying not only taxes, but potential penalties as well. And you're starting to deplete the very asset that is supposed to carry you through the next 30 years.
So let's talk strategy. What would be the strategic move next?
Yeah, it's going to depend on age and situation. And let's see if I can spitball 3 scenarios here. So scenario 1, let's say you're 62, you just got let go. You've got, let's say, $500,000 in your 401k and you need income like yesterday. Okay. We take these conversations and start talking about what we call bridge strategies. Questions, right? Can we take Social Security early to create income flow while we are still preserving that retirement account? Sometimes taking it early is the right strategic decision because it keeps you from cannibalizing your hard-earned savings account. Scenario 2, let's say you're pre-59 and a half, 58 years old. You can't touch Social Security yet. What you need is a short-term income plan. There's something called systematic withdrawals where you can start pulling money from your 401k without penalties. But let's be smart here. Only what you need, managing the tax hit. Maybe converting some to a Roth while your income is temporarily low. Third scenario, and again, this scenario keeps me up at night. You're 59. You just lost health insurance. You've got 6 years until you can pull Medicare. Healthcare costs for someone that age can range from $1,500 to $2,000 per month for a couple. That's $100,000 to $150,000 in outflow of your assets before Medicare. We have got to plan for that scenario as well.
If you're just joining us here on the Retirement Roundtable, John Scallan talking about for the adults that maybe have recently been laid off or maybe think 2026 may bring a pink slip or maybe a forced retirement. And we're talking about some of the strategic steps you can take. But, John, there's also a psychological component to all this as well.
Mark, that is so true. Nobody really talks about this enough. The financial planning, that's X's and O, fairly easy when you're running the numbers, right? But people struggle with, who am I? My identity was tied to my job. Who am I if I'm not working? We encourage people, we talk about this is your chance to redefine purpose on your terms. Listen, you didn't choose to get laid off. You didn't choose this moment. But here's what we really think is important. You choose what comes next. But you can only embrace that next chapter if you've got total confidence or confidence in your finances. Listen, you cannot really have confidence without a plan, or certainly without the right plan.
I love how you said that, John. This is your chance to redefine purpose on your terms. So somebody's listening this week and they feel like they're facing this situation or just maybe a little concerned about what the next 4 or 6 months could bring. What's your advice?
Mark, I just want to say this first. What I have seen people do in these situations, let's just call it life, punches you right in the nose. I've seen, the resilience in people, whether it's consulting, whether it's getting a part-time job, redefining this mini chapter, right? This short period of time between what happened to you today and when you ultimately retire. Please consider this. Reach out. We're at 504-732-1001. These initial meetings are complimentary, no cost, no obligation. We will help you look at your complete picture and help you build a plan. What I have seen time and time again, people come in stressed, anxious. We do the math. We build the plan. They start redefining who they are in this next chapter. They breathe. They get their feet centered, and then they say, I had no idea I could actually do this. Remember, with the right strategy, you can not only survive this, you can thrive in this next phase. 504-732-1001 or reach out to us at cypressfinancial.net.
John, last week we talked about RMD timing, and today I want to go a little bit deeper into Roth conversions. Now, right now, the IRS makes you start taking those RMDs at the age of 73, but one strategic move to potentially lower what you owe down the road is to convert a portion to a Roth and pay the taxes now. I want you to hear this clip from Morningstar's Christine Benz, who explains more.
Retirement planners often say that post-work, pre-RMD, pre-age 73 now is a real sweet spot to consider those conversions. And the key reason is that you have a lot of control over your taxable income in those years. They may be kind of the high spending years of your retirement, but if you can curtail how much you're spending, how much taxable income you have, that means that you can convert portions of your balance at a lower tax rate. So that's why it's a terrific terrific window to look at potentially doing some conversions in that particular period.
She's talking about the sweet spot there. John Scallan, do you agree?
Yeah, Mark, I emphatically I agree. Christine hit on something most people never think about. And let me try to articulate this in real terms. You work your whole life, you're making 60, 80, 100,000, 120,000 a year. You're in a fairly high tax bracket. You're putting money into that 401k, getting the deduction, kind of kicking the tax bill down the road. Then you retire. Let's say you're 65 years old and Social Security hasn't started yet, or it's just started at maybe $30,000 a year. You're not taking RMDs until 73. So what's your taxable income right now? Many people in this situation find that their tax bracket is really low, 12% or even a 22% bracket. This is the window. For most of your working life, you were probably in the 24 or 32% tax bracket. Now you've got years in the 12 or 22% bracket. What if we could move money from your traditional IRA into a Roth account during these low tax bracket years?
But John, in the end, you're still paying taxes on that conversion. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You pay taxes now at these lower rates. That is the key. But once that money is in the Roth, get a load of this. It grows tax-free. When you pull it out later, tax-free. When you pass away and this money goes to your kids, this money grows tax-free. It doesn't count toward your required minimum distribution calculation. Doesn't impact Medicare premiums or Social Security taxation. This is big. Think about what happens if you don't do this. You get to 73 years old. The IRS forces you now to say, take out $40,000. Guess what? That gets added to Social Security, maybe pension, and boom. No more in this 12 or 22% tax bracket, higher taxes, higher Medicare cost, more Social Security taxation. It's kind of a cascade, Mark, that most people don't see coming.
Okay, so help me paint the picture of this situation. Give me like some real world examples here.
All right, trying to stump me again here. Let me dig
Keep
deep,
you on your
Mark.
toes, John Scallan.
Yeah. So let's say you're 67 years old. You've got, say, $600,000 in your traditional IRA, taking maybe $35,000 a year to live on. Social Security, you're picking up another $30,000. So your taxable income is roughly $35,000, pretty low tax bracket. What if we converted the $30,000 from traditional to a Roth this year? You pay taxes on that $30,000 at your low current rate. Guess what? Next year, do it again, and the year after, same. Over 5-6 years in this sweet spot. Think about what you've done. You've moved $150,000 to $200,000 into a Roth. Paid the taxes at favorable rates. Now when you hit 73 and RMDs kick in, your traditional IRA is smaller, which means your RMD is smaller, which means your tax bill is smaller. Mark, additionally, you've got tax-free money in the Roth. Hurricane comes in and you need a new roof, bang, pull it from the Roth, no tax. Big trip, pull it from the Roth. Help the grandkids, pull it from the Roth.
I feel like we're like a pep rally. Pull it from the Roth. Pull it from the, as we're talking this weekend about Roth conversions, how they could affect your overall tax strategy with John Scallan here. That number 504-732-1001, cypressfinancial.net. But John, it's also important for people to know this is not one size fits all, though.
That's correct. It is not. I mean, Mark, you need someone who can run through the scenarios with you. You don't want to convert so much as you push yourself into a higher tax bracket. Listen, this is not rocket science, but it's certainly something that you have to pay attention to. You do not want to go into that next bracket. You want to fill your current bracket without bumping to the next one. Think of it like filling a bucket to the top and not overflowing. This is strategic planners that many financial advisors just don't do. They're focused on growth, but retirement is about income. It's about tax strategy. Simply said, it's making every dollar work efficiently for you and this chapter of your life.
Somebody's driving around this weekend. Somebody's listening to the show and they're going, pull it from the Roth. Tax mitigation, RMDs.
You know how to tie everything to college football, man.
But
really good, Mark.
John, we're on the same page. We're on that team. We want to be a part of your team. They want to explore more of this. What's the first step of getting more information about a Roth conversion and how it affects our overall taxes?
Pick up the phone, 504-732-1001. Many of our clients met us initially by going to cypressfinancial.net. And for those of you out there who are just not ready to talk to someone or get on the calendar, find us on Facebook. A ton of information, a ton of, financial material that can help you. What we will do, should you reach out, we will look at your tax situation, retirement accounts, and your timeline. When do I need to start pulling money? We'll run the numbers, show you what happens if you do nothing, what happens if you convert different amounts. You will see the difference in black and white side by side. Another thought, we're coming up on year end. If you've been thinking about Roth conversions, we've still got time for 2025, but we need to start talking really soon. 504-732-1001. Let's figure this out together. We are here to help.
And John, as we head into Thanksgiving, been thinking about how and when you need to plan for that big dinner. Got to start with the basics, right? The foundation, if you will. I want you to hear this clip. We asked financial author Patrick Kelly, what should be the turkey and potatoes of our retirement plan?
The thing that I have been such a big proponent of for individuals, especially if they're in or near retirement, is this incredible, innovative product called a fixed index annuity. What's so great about that is it gives them the opportunity to still capture inflation-beating returns, but has no possibility of loss due to the market. And I just think if you can be in a position where no matter what happens in the market, you still got your meat and potatoes.
So he's calling the meat and potatoes annuities. John Scallan, what makes a fixed index annuity work as that foundation?
Mark, Patrick really nailed it with that analogy. I mean, think about Thanksgiving dinner when you're planning it. Do you start with dessert? No. Do you start with the fancy sides?
John,
Absolutely
no,
not.
Right in with the turkey is where the heart of it all.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, if you mess up the turkey, the meal is kind of, I wouldn't say the experience is really going to be a good one. Your pumpkin pie can be perfect, but if the main course is a disaster, Thanksgiving from a meal perspective is probably ruined. Retirement planning works the same way. You need a foundation, something solid that's going to be there no matter what happens in the economy or to the capital markets. And here's what Patrick is talking about with fixed indexed annuities. Mark, simply, it's a way to have a portion of your retirement money positioned where you get two critical things at the same time. First, as he mentioned, you've got 100% principal protection when the market has a pullback, when the market has a crash, and it will back off at some point. This money does not go down by 1 penny. It does not lose value. Your foundation stays intact. Secondly, because of the ability to invest in market indexes, you still have growth potential. When markets are good, you participate in some of that upside. You're not just stuffing money in a mattress that's earning nothing. You can capture inflation-beating returns, as Patrick said as well.
So it's like my uncle. He's conservative, but he's not super conservative. Is that a fair analogy?
Yeah, I think that's properly categorized. I mean, look, here's what I see all the time. People come in and their retirement plan is all growth stocks, all market risk. They're treating retirement like they're 35 years old. I mean, using that Thanksgiving analogy, Mark, it's all dessert and no turkey. Or I see the opposite. People are just petrified that the market is going to wipe everything out. They're in CDs or low interest paying savings accounts, earning practically nothing. They've got turkey, but it's frozen turkey that never gets cooked. It's not growing enough to keep up with inflation over sometimes decades. What we're after in retirement planning is balance. And that's where having a portion of your assets in the market, maybe not all of it, but the other portion or a piece of your total portfolio in a fixed indexed annuity that creates the foundation of an income plan. You know, what we tell people is these annuities are not your parents' annuities. They are dynamic financial products that cover a multitude of challenges that people see in retirement.
The opportunity for guaranteed income through retirement with an annuity. So somebody's listening this weekend. They want to understand how that fixed index annuity might work as a part of their plan. What can they do?
Well, Mark, first thing you can do is pick up the phone, 504-732-1001. We would love to talk with you. We'd love to just talk about what your specific plan looks like. You can always find us at cypressfinancial.net. Listen, let's sit down for a complimentary initial meeting. We will look at your complete situation. How much have you accumulated? What are your income needs? What is your risk tolerance? And then we'll run the numbers. We will show you what it looks like to have a portion positioned conservatively in something like a fixed indexed annuity. We'll show you the growth potential. We'll show you whether some of these contracts take care of long-term care or liquidity needs or enhanced death benefits should you need something along those lines. We will show you what happens if you own it and what happens if you don't. Mark, here's one last key. We're coming into Thanksgiving. You'll probably be around the table with family. Sometimes you might even be talking about retirement. Some people will have opinions, never do an annuity, or, quote, you're crazy if you don't. Wouldn't you rather have actual information? Get the facts. The numbers don't lie. The risk allocation won't lie. But let's make sure, whatever you are looking at, that this information is about your particular situation, not just an opinion. That is what we do. We show you the options and you decide what makes sense.
Investment advisory services offered through Cypress Financial Group, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Cypress Financial Group, John Scallan, Louisiana Insurance License Number 1064997. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Cypress Financial Group. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.